here we are. We're doing it. I mentioned on a comment that I may or may not have some time set out to do a video on the fleet, and here we go. A lot of you watched the first video that I found on this. I found that on my Google Drive. I was friggin' blown away. You can see how time goes. You know, was a nice looking pickup truck not too long ago, but now it kind of just like, yeah, still solid as a rock though, you know. Still solid as a rock. Fucking probably still rides really good. Gave my buddy the wiper arms, flywheel, clutch plate, engine and tranny are down in the basement. I'll try and remember to edit in the pictures that I took of me yanking her out. Because that was actually a lot of feckin' fun. I enjoyed doing that a lot. It's one of my favorite. Oh, I should take that blower motor for him. That's a good one to yank. Oh, and take the, I forgot, I need to take that vacuum thing out too. I have an idea to use that in a 67 Mercury Cougar to replace one of the 3 vacuum reservoirs that it houses. Because that's much smaller, and I can locate that inside a wheel well underneath the fender cover. So, yeah, good stuff. I got this thing with 189,991 miles. I got to drive it for 8 miles. And the alternator was dead. So then I pushed up and down a hill for another mile. And at 190,000 miles, she was mine. My first. I will have another Ford Ranger in the future. But that's going to be a long time from now. I'm working on taking the dashboard out, because I put that dashboard on in there. Is it going to? No, it's not going to focus on that. It says 203, 451. I swapped the whole cluster over. She's filled with junk. I need to get that. That's not a real airbag. I'm going to take the plate out because I think I did really good on that. I liked it. There was a matching steering wheel cover. That's gone now. I think I'm going to take the starter. It's a starter, and it's made for the flywheel and the tranny that I've got. So I'm going to get a new flywheel though. That's going to go off for scrap with the rest of him. Because I need money. I'm going to try and take my speakers out too, because I put those in there. Rotors from, I think that's a Toyota. Yeah, she's got a lot of her problems. You know, kind of sad. Uh-oh. His truck's having problems. There she goes. This is my pony. This is also a long story car. Yes. Brake for moose. Always brake for moose, ladies and gentlemen. I bought this car for my ex-girlfriend. She was my girlfriend at the time. We had to get rid of her Focus, because it was, the booster went, and I replaced the master cylinder, and I did all the stuff that I could for it, and the booster is just too much for a fucking 04 Focus guy. Too much for an 04 Focus. She was a good car, though. She was a good car. I got this for 1,200 buckaroonies. through a dealership in Manchester Crosstown was selling it for his friend Billy. Billy had something terminal, I'm presuming. It at least definitely seemed that way. And he needed to get rid of the car fast. But he wanted to sell the car to someone that knew what they were doing. The dashboard says 111,900 or 557 miles. I got it with 102,074. I think that's how many miles are on it. This car used to be a race car. And you can tell by the pile of exhaust. Yeah, these are the factory cats. You can tell because the dot slot dot was a race car. They cut the fucking material out, and then they welded up the bung holes and shit, and then, well, they didn't weld the bung holes. They welded that plate back together, and those are emptier than, I don't know, the people's pockets in America right now. Let's go with that. Those are Ford Ranger rims. Those are these rims. Why, you may be asking? Because these are the rims that it came with originally. And see the difference? See the difference? You got a little bit of tire. Got a little bit of tire. A little bit of tire. A lot of rim. A little bit of tire. A little bit of tire. Well, that's a something. That's a something nest. I don't know what the fuck that is. We're gonna find out later. Because I still need these. Unless they're gonna pay me for these rims, I want them back. Right? So we've got a little bit of tire. Right, a little bit of tire. I'm gonna try and keep my hands locked. Yeah, dude. Lock action thumb, man. See that? See that? The whole tread of the tire is on top of that ride height now. This was the first generation of Mustang to not have 14s as an option. As far as I can tell, the technical reasoning is they don't fit, the brakes don't fit. Well, these are Ford factory rims. And they fit on the rear end just fine without any spacers. Now, the people that had this car before me, they spaced the rear end, which I actually quite like the idea of. It makes it look a little bit meaner, fuller wheel wells, especially because these are only by 6s instead of by 8s. But that also helps. This, because it's a convertible, weighs 4,800 pounds. That's a heavy freaking convertible. I felt like the by 8s was too much surface area for the weight. And as such, the PSI on the tires was low, and it has a really bad tendency of roasting tires regularly, and I think that was just one of the things they wanted it to do. It doesn't do the same thing with this. Well, actually, it does roast these. Yeah, it roasts them real friggin' good, ladies and gentlemen. It roasts my tires real good. These are 20,000 mile tires. They still have a little bit life left on them. I need to swap them. I bought these all together at Firestone for that, because those are the only 14s that they make that aren't race tires. All right, so the front end also spaced out. But if you space it by 1.25 inches, these rims are tapered, and so it fit right over. I only have a problem with the wheel rub on this side because the fender's just not. Yeah, I'm gonna try and make a piece out of stamped steel that matches this one. This is the original one. Yeah, I got in an accident in this car. That's its own story that I don't really want to talk about right now. Yeah, that was a bad 4th of July. Them were the only fireworks I got to see that day. Yeah, the whole fender is not quite right because I need to like stretch the whole. I need to fix a lot of this corner because it's angry. I painted that door with rattle can paint black, so it's not bad. I know of a scrapyard where there is a door that I could take if I wanted it. I don't know if I want to do that though. It might be a lot more effort. Is it still open? Yeah, I just got it. It is a V8. This is the original motor. It has the original transmission in it too. As far as I can tell, I had to put a new valve cover on it because that's how bad that accident was. You can see that other valve cover. Yeah, that's half of the intake that they had on there. I need to get a better intake because you see that's terrible. Chunky battery, that's fine. I think it needs an oil change. Yeah, maybe I just change. Well, I should change it anyway. Yeah, having been inside the valley because I've had to replace that alternator. Well, I decided to replace the alternator because I was worried that's what my problem was. It runs like garbage. It runs like garbage. And it's because I haven't been able to change the upstream O2 sensor on that side. It's fouled out so bad. So this car has a tune on it that I didn't know because it's like a factory style tune. I don't understand how that's working because I haven't found any other modules, right? Because there's nothing else. As far as I could tell, this is 1996 factory as it could be. There may be something hidden up under there somewhere. Yeah, that's for the fans. It runs hot because the upstream O2 sensor on bank 1, which on a Ford is the passenger side, doesn't read properly. I think it's stuck running rich. So the way that because it's tuned, and I think it's a factory race tune, because it doesn't throw a check engine light for anything with the O2 sensors. And that makes me think that they flashed the EROM data for the efficiency on the engine. And because of that, there's no upper or lower limit. So that bank leans itself out until it runs like garbage. And like I had a laser temperature thermometer to check because the gauge, well, after you're driving for a while, the gauge runs closer to the hot range. Well, the reason is that's the sensor that goes to the gauge. It's on the passenger side. And that's why that side physically runs hot. I parked it here on my birthday 2 years ago now. It's coming up. I was going to take it to Fun Spot, hang out with my buddy. It was running rough by the time I got to the end of the street. So I was like, nope, she's going down. She's parking now. It sucks, but it's the way it goes. Because that side physically was hotter. I put my hands on that valve cover. I'm like, no, that's fine. I put my hands on that valve cover. Hoo-wee, mama. That was hot. That was feckin' hot. And not fun. Yeah. I also, I replaced the fuel pump by making a trap door in the trunk. This is my car until it's done. I had to buy it back from my ex-girlfriend. Yeah. Yeah, I bought the car twice. The fuck? That's its own story. I borrowed money to buy it the first time. That's its own. Well, she and I borrowed money, and then she tried to make me pay that off. And then I was like, no, but I'll buy that car from you, and then you can use that to pay your parents off. And then I did that, and now it's mine. I found it on Facebook Marketplace. I was the first person to message. I found it within 45 minutes. And that's why I have the car. The guy that was selling it for Billy was like, hey, I'm going to be straight up with you. You're the first person that responded, so you get first dibs. You want the car? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want the car. It's an automatic. She didn't know how to drive stick at the time. It's an automatic. Fucking convertible. Mustang V8. Dream car, man. Dream car. Come to find out why it's a dream car. This is what Flash has. Well, he's got the shitty New Edge V6 version, but this is what Flash has in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. And Mary Jane jumps over the back of one. That's why I love this car, because I remember the rear end. Right, mine's a 96. Mine's a 96, so it has the fancy tail lamps and the GT. It's really a GT. It really is a GT. I think, so what Billy told me, because I did meet Billy once. Billy told me it was tuned. I didn't necessarily believe him. He told me it was cammed. I I didn't necessarily believe him. He told me that the rear end had been replaced with an Explorer axle. That I believed because it has way too much up and go. It's got way too much up and go. Like, fuck me. There's a big difference between 28 spline and 32 spline. And the 32 spline was found in the Explorers. And all you have to do is you have to take the heart out of the carrier and swap it into this axle because they're the same axle. And, fuck me. Well, and of course, like the side axles and shit. But like, fuck me. This thing's got kick. This thing, when you put your foot in the stirrup, and then you put your foot in your heel up into the pony's side, she just, she's gone. She'll kick your feet right out from underneath you and she'll fly you real freaking fast. It is much torquier than it ever was from the factory. So, I'll believe that it was tuned and stuff. And I think they might have done bottom end work. I'm not 100% sure that it is actually technically still a 4.6 liter. Because if you do a rough math and you were to, say, grind the crank just a pinch and put some different bearings in it, you've turned it into a 5 liter, right? Because all you need is 0.05. Yeah, you need another 0.05 liters per cylinder to get to a 5 liter. And it feels like it's got more low end torque, which makes me think that the crankshaft has been mildly changed. It does have head gaskets that have been replaced. Because I've been inside the valley and I've seen those tabs, and those tabs are a lot cleaner than they should be for this thing. Came from California. That's why I have it. Because it's actually nice underneath. I need to blast it and do some mild body work on the passenger side because it's been 2 accidents on the passenger side. It's one of the reasons why he had to get rid of it. He was moving it from his house garage to his garage. It was a cold fall day. He hit black ice and it went into a guardrail on the front clip and in the door. And that's why the door is replaced. I need to do work underneath because I brought it to a Midas and they suck. Not the whole company, just them. Charged me $300 and the bottom of it looks like they took a tin plate and they bent it. And it's still warped. They didn't even weld the bottom of it, so it like will always fill with water and shit. They don't know what they're talking about. It's fine. You know, it's whatever. I think it still has the original gas cap, right? It does. Yep, that's the original gas cap. And that brings us to this little doodabber. This is my daily. This is the bad side. And by bad side, I mean this is the side that's got panel rot. There and mainly there. I'll fix this. This summer though. No problem. I'm gonna cut the bottom of the door off, put a new panel on there, cut this out, put a new panel in here. Maybe do some interesting body stuff right here to get the air to go around the tire. Because as you can see by the body line, the air goes here, slicks around the tire, gets spit off, and then it catches in the bumper. And that's not good. EX Coupe! I just noticed this the other day. I don't even know how you do that. That's actually kind of impressive. I had put a fancy sticker spoiler on it. Came off. It does change the aerodynamics. I've used the string thing like in Ford vs Ferrari, and all the air just right here. Terrible. It's terrible because the roof is too flat, right? But the air doesn't want to shh like that. Well, actually, the air does want to go shh like that. And then it meets a flat plane, but it's a downward plane. So it doesn't want to leave this pocket. This pocket's a vacuum pocket. And this reduces fuel efficiency significantly on these models. Trust me. Same thing with the underneath that bumper. Actually, that's why I've got the wooden thing on the end of the bed there for the Ranger. That pushed me from 23 miles per gallon to 28. Yeah. Because the tailgate wasn't creating any more drag like an air brake. Right? Aerodynamics is crazy, and if you can understand and wrap your head around it, you can get wild performance out of your cars. Mustang, the only problem with that with air is the top. Right? When you get to about 110 miles an hour, that top's going... Don't ask me how I know that. That may or may not be why blew up the tail housing on the transmission one day. We're not going to talk about that. That's its own story for that car. We're going to have another video on that car on its own. It'll be good, right? So this Civic, right? I got it from my buddy with 226,000, 246,000 miles, or something like that. It's got 250,000 miles on it now. I love this car. Automatic. VTEC. Most people are like, oh, it's an automatic. It's a 4-speed auto manual, right? So the door Bondo, that's the shtick. That's the shtick. I want the car, also the hood paint. This is the original paint. This is the original hood. Stripped off. I glossed it. I put a fucking can of gloss paint on that because I love it. I'll never find paint like that again. I will never find paint like this again. Ever. Ever. Like, that's bare metal. I'll never find paint like this shit again. Never. So I gloss painted it. So I wouldn't lose that. So I would preserve it forever. I wish I had done the same thing to the wiper arms. But honestly, I like the way the wiper arms are continuing to wear as time goes on. If they eventually just become like beaten steel, that'll look really cool on its own too. Yeah. I was at a stoplight one night after I think I just finally paid it off. Or I was down like the last payment or something. And I go to, because I'm an idiot, I went to neutral drop it from third. Or, yeah, into third, because it's got, you know, drive 3. I dropped it into drive 3, and then I just heard, when I put it into park. That's not good. I thought I blew up the transmission. No. No, I snapped the axle in half. That took me a month to fix. Cause Honda Civic, little light car, right? You put socket on that axle nut, and it's not attached to the rest of the axle. Tire spin. Little car, tire spin, right? So I took a stepper bit. That took a hot minute, but I got it out. This is the original axle. This is filled with fish oil. I learned that from this one. This is the driver's side. It ate a ball joint one day, and that got pulled out of the socket. And it smelled like soy sauce. Like something fierce. I was like, fuck me. Why does it smell like fucking soy sauce? That's so bizarre. And then, I finally, after 3 days, I finally get back home. Get my car all fixed up. What is this thing? Oh. Got it all fixed up. I had to wait an entire day in the parking lot to get the axle, which is freaking nonsense. AutoZone. That's its own thing. And then I get home, right? And I talk to my dad. My dad was a machinist for a long time. He also worked in the Air Force. He's done a lot of things. He's a badass. He's a glorified badass. He's told Steven Tyler to go fuck himself. True story. True story. Yeah. That's its own thing that I'll probably... maybe I'll have my dad give me some of his stories on a video just so they get cataloged, because they're freaking hilarious. My dad's a glorified badass for a damn good reason. He's so fucking good. Funny as hell. Right, so I get home and I'm like, man, it's like they filled that damn thing with soy sauce. And he paused his YouTube video, and he spun in his chair, and he looked at me, cold deadpan face, and he went, no, fish oil, dude, it's fish oil. And I went, what? And he's like, yeah, dude, when we were getting all the machines in the 70s and 80s from Japan, they were filled with fucking fish oil. And I'm like, no, that makes sense. It's a cheap economy car. It's really easy to it's a sealed system. It'll never need to be replaced. It'll lubricate the joint well enough. Yeah, fish oil. Uh-huh. Fish oil. Yeah. I'm using the tripod as a monopod because I did take video editing classes in high school about a decade ago now. It was sophomore year. So yes, it was about a decade ago. 14's on this too. 14's on this too. I can technically. One day I will do that. One day I will rally build this car when it's not my daily driver car. I don't know what will be my daily driver car at that point. Probably the thing that I took the engine out of that for. So Shane has a 60s car. It's a 63 Studebaker Avanti. One of 30. The last of 30. As far as I could tell. Is the last of that rare 30. Why is his one of 30? Because it has a 3-speed manual. Which was only offered in the original 63 year. And which also was completely unfucking drivable. It's completely undrivable. Third gear, you're on the highway at 55 at $3,000. There's no overdrive in that. It's not a drivable car. It's also a fiberglass car with a station wagon frame, right? I'm gonna. As much as I'm looking at this, I will have I will put up a Studebaker Avanti on the thing. I'm gonna try and remember to edit that in there, and beautiful car, right? One of the wonderful features that I think that like actual cool ass selling point on that car, right? So this is something that we give for granted, right? A gas filler door on the side, right? Because I do a lot of work on 60s cars. As weird as that is, I know a good friend, Jim Pappas. He's got a 69 Mercedes-Benz with a fuel-injected straight six. Beautiful car. Oh, man. Actual beautiful German engineering. The German engineering where, like, they changed the shape of the passenger side control arm specifically so that you can go up and take the alternator out from underneath the car. God bless that. Holy shit. That's incredible. You can actually see one of those cars in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The original. Yeah, he walks right past that car and then he finds the fiver in the drain. Yeah, Mercedes luck, dude. Mercedes luck. His Mercedes has vinyl seats. That's a weird option. He found another Mercedes in a scrapyard that he and his buddy pulled for parts. That also had vinyl seats. I don't know how he's done that. That's impressive in and of itself. To find a cheap Mercedes. But then, you know, he's also got a 67 Mercury Cougar with the FE390 Ford Edsel block. Also a beautiful car. That car's all kinds of funky. It's in a Colorado, or it was made in Colorado, sold in Colorado. It was ordered in Denver. It's made in Detroit with a Canada exclusive paint color. Cinnamon Frost Poly. I think it originally had a black vinyl top, although I haven't been able to go all the way through the VIN tag to find out if that black vinyl top was a dealer option or not. I think it was the original, but if not, that's it's kind of cool. He had it replaced because the person that had gotten it out, that he had gotten it from in Colorado, painted the whole thing white, including the top, to make sure that it didn't like rot out, because he personally had replaced that top 3 times. So when he got it back to New Hampshire, he took it apart and he had that done. So that was cool. Both those cars are plate-filled cars, right? So part of the bumper has a spot, and then the plate will open up, and that's where your gas spout is. 63 Studebaker Avanti, though, right here on the A-pillar on the back, on the driver's side, which, like, 60s car that you can pull up to the gas pump. Pull up to the gas pump. Not pull past the gas pump. Pull up to the gas pump. We give that a lot of for granted today. Like, for real. Pulling up to a gas pump is very different than pulling ahead of a gas pump. You know, imagine if I had to do that with this freaking pickup truck. I'd have to walk all the way to the end of that fucking pickup truck. What the fuck? That takes so much longer. And you don't even think about that, but that's like 30 more seconds out of your life that you could be doing something else. And I know it's weird for me to be like, oh, spend all your time wisely. Yes, do spend all of your time wisely. I'm a loser. All I have are assets. I live in my dad's basement. You know, don't be me. Unless you like torturing yourself. I don't think it's necessarily that as much. It's just that I really like challenges, and all of my life has been a challenge. So that's, you know, the fun part of it. But I'm gonna take that engine and transmission from that Ford Ranger. I'm gonna put that into a Studebaker Avanti with that Mercedes axle because that Mercedes rear end axle, I'm going to find a picture on the internet. I'm going to post that on here. You're going to notice this spring here in the middle and this weird boot here by the differential, right? It's a semi-solid axle in that it is solid axle in construction, but there's a CV axle, a CV joint next to the differential, so that the passenger side of the axle can flex up and down independent of the left side, giving it a solid tube construction, keeping all of the factories that Mercedes has been using since the early 50s, but making it independent rear end suspension. Fascinating. I want that underneath the fiberglass car with the supercharged 2.3 liter from Ford, which is known in Europe as the Cortina racing motor, with a 5-speed from a Ford Ranger, because that weighs 83 pounds or whatever and is aluminum, and it should be able to handle all that torque. And if it doesn't, I'll just buy another one from one of the supercharged Thunderbirds, and then that should handle the torque, because it just has different gears and stuff. The one from that is different, has different gearing in it, as far as I can tell. Doesn't drive the same way as if I were to take. So one of the things that I do with all of my cars, and this is how I get all of my cars to run as well as they do, because this is a 98, that's a 96, that's a 97, right? I drive 90s cars. These are older than me. These cars are older than me, right? And the reason that I get them to drive really good is because I'll look up all the factory specs on the bore, and the stroke, and the compression, and how much fuel mileage they're supposed to get, and the amount of torque that they're supposed to put out, and the horsepower at the certain range, and all the graphs, and all the technical manuals and specifications I can find. I'll load up Automation, the car company Tycoon Simulator. I'll build the car as close as I can get it, right? As absolutely fucking close as I can get it. Port that to BeamNG. Drive that around a little while with a racing setup, right? To find out that the gearing, the factory gear ratios on this pickup truck in first and second aren't right. They're not right for what I was actually driving every day. And so I started looking up stuff on that transmission, and that is an 8.8 axle. Just like the Pony. And in fact, they both have the same torque to top speed thing going on there. So I think it's the same gear set too, which is actually kind of cool. It didn't come with an 8.8. It came with a 7.5 open. That's an 8.8 locker. The transmission that was in here and that axle, I think, came together from a 94 with the 3 liter, because that had a different gear ratio for the standard. The original owner did it. I'm the third owner of this. I'm the third owner of that. I'm the third owner of that. I think I'm the third owner of that. I'm thinking that the 100,000 mile, I think the guy that bought that originally from in California bought that to be a race car. I think he daily drove it for 2 or 3 years and then turned it into a race car, and then sold it to Billy, who brought it back. Billy's son had a garage, and by garage I mean professional shop. So they went through the whole car, and they actually did stuff to the engine that I didn't expect them to do. They cleaned everything up, and they made sure everything was really nice and neat and running good, because they were going to give it to his dad, right? And back to the thing on the cams with that car, how I didn't think that it was cammed, and then I had to replace this valve cover over here. Had to replace that because it was leaking, because got smashed in by the frame. Pull that valve cover off, put it down on that bucket right there, look back over. Those are not Ford factory cams. Yeah, baby. Yeah, it is cammed. Billy told me that his son told him to drive it around for a couple thousand miles and bring it back for something special. This car doesn't run on ethanol gas. I mean, any amount of ethanol gas, it makes us mighty freaking angry. And the thing about ethanol is it needs at least, I think, 9.8 to 10 to 1 compression to burn efficiently, right? Which is common for most modern cars. It's very common for most modern cars, right? I think all of these, that had a 9.8, this had a 9.8, I think this had a 9.4 or 9.5. Maybe. I'll have to look that up. Doesn't run on ethanol gas. So the compression's not there. Which is weird. It's really weird, right? What if they stroked it? Right? If they gave that little bit of stroke, that would drop the compression enough. That if they wanted to take a Terminator blower, which will bolt right up, that would give it the boost for loss of compression to run ethanol gas and to put like 400 to the wheel. I had a computer, I had a ScanGauge 2, which I'm sure isn't like the most reliable of technology or whatever, but according to what I found from factory specs, according to what I'd done in BeamNG Drive, you plug this device into the OBD ports of OBD2, right? And then it gives you 4 digital display with buttons that you can change the display thing. One of the settings that it has is it can estimate how much horsepower the vehicle is outputting, right? Using the fuel calculations and all the fun stuff. I had a Black Civic just like this. It read perfectly fine in the Black Civic, about 120 horsepower. That's about right. Read perfectly fine in the Ranger, about 125 horsepower. That's right. I was heading down 89. Pretty damn sure it was 89. Let's get up to 50 miles an hour, right? That gauge read 315 and my foot was halfway to the fucking floor. So I took my foot off and went, this car, he was right about this car. This car's got something going on. This car does have something going on. It's fucking wild. I drove Jim with the Cougar in this. He's like, I've never had a convertible. I've never had a convertible. I don't know why I've never had a convertible. He realized that after I drove around and like, dude, convertibles are the best. They're like having a pickup truck. You put the top down, you put anything you want in it. Anything you want. How did I get this hood and fender back? I put the top down. I threw the fender in the passenger side and duct taped the top over the boot. Which is why I actually still have this hood. Because believe it or not, I have the idea to do a really nice trim on the edge here and turn it into a kick-ass boot lid. It's fiberglass. It's not heavy. Well, it's kind of heavy because it's 90s fiberglass, so it's good fiberglass. But like, that's not a bad idea. It looked really nice. And it's way cheaper than buying one of the boot lids because the boot lids for this car are like $1,200. That's what I paid for the car. No, thank you. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. No, thank you. And yeah, this car runs beautifully. It's way too fast. It's way too fast for its own good. Race car, it most certainly was. My dad backed into it once. Oh well. He was really upset about it. He's like, I hate your car. He's crying. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. He's like, are you okay? Yeah, that's fine. I don't give a shit. I can always fix anything. I've become much more relaxed and tactical and strategic as I've gotten older. Because that's all life is tactics and strategy and how you apply assets. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand that. It's mostly because I'm like a weird Vulcan man, though. And then, okay, yeah, let's get to the one out back. Yeah, let's get to the one out back. This is my dad's pickup truck. He bought that off my uncle. My uncle got it off of, I think, the people that used to own whatever it says for a business on the side of that. Yeah, fancy freaking 250 with the V10 Triton. Yeah, it's a single cab with the 250 and the V10 Triton. V10 Triton runs really good, actually. Runs really, really good. Has the ambulance package. Which is that. And that. And it's got manual transfer case, even though it's automatic, which is, oh, baby. Yeah, it's got the locking 411s because of the towing capabilities of an ambulance or whatever. It's not really for towing, but it's for getting out of stick situations. Where's the fucking shit car? Oh yeah, here's the other one. I've got 3 of those. Which is why I don't know if I want to like get rid of it. You know, like I could get another one, and then eventually get factory tires, put it all back to factory. But this thing is sad. This is the original spare. It's the original spare, guys. I don't know if I pointed that out in the last video. Where's the date? Made in France! Wait, what? They shipped the whole car with tires over? Why? What on earth? Yeah. Do not use on 16.5 diameter rims. like, oh my god, like what the fuck? It was made in France. What on earth? Yeah, so this car, that's the original. It's the original freaking placard. This car was ordered in Manchester, New Hampshire. Was built in the UK. Oh. Oh no. How did that happen? Huh? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This might be done. We'll figure it out. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with it. Because, like, technically speaking, I can yank the engine and transmission out and the drivetrain, and then just, like, keep that somewhere for the Civic. Because there's kits for that. It's K-Swap. K-Swap, baby. K-Swap, baby. That's wild. Freaking the tire was shipped over here, too. That's so bizarre. That's so bizarre. Oh, yeah. Fancy old 70s Cub Cadet that my dad got. This thing's actually really cool, believe it or not. Yeah, actually really cool. Yeah. Yeah, my basement's, so they changed the, well, I say they. Yeah, there's the skid plate that I used for the underneath under the bumper on the Civic. So as far as I could tell, you can see a lot of that standing water. That's the water table. Right, as far as I could tell, see them rocks in the driveway over there, and that big rock there? That's the ledge. That is the mountain. That is the land. That's as far down as you go, right? So there's a farmer down the road that way. He's got a lot of head of cattle. Last year he had to port in water for them because the ponds that he's been using for the last 30 years ran dry. He's never fucking seen that before. The water table is actually a water river here, as far as I can tell. It used to run out that way. Out that way. Now it runs down the mountain all the way down that way, because the floor drain, when it rains 3 inches, the floor drain is now underneath the water table and it starts coming out. If I let it continue to, it will start pouring out of the cracks of the walls and the floor. And by cracks of the walls, I mean where it meets the you know, where all the edges meet. I have to go in and seal that. I've sealed half the cracks in the basement and it actually worked significantly better. Those particular cracks did not leak this season, but still not great. I taught myself welding on this. That's neat. This is my first time with 7016. I really like that shit. I really like 716. That's fucking solid as a rock, mate. That was one pass. This backside, that's one pass. Yeah. Taught myself to weld on this so I could try and fix that CRV. If that CRV ends up being junk too, it's going where that's going. Oh yeah. I saved my Kerbal sticker! Yeah! Long-time viewers might remember my Kerbal Space Program series that I had intended to continue going, and then I was living in a tent, and things didn't go very well. I did find the save. I have found the save, and the mods, and the everything. I found everything. I managed to get that all over onto my next computer. I might pick that up with Deorbiter 3. Actually, I have to bring them back home. I was in the middle of doing footage. I don't know if I still have that footage or if I deleted it. If I did, I'll just pick up where I was on the moon and then we'll bring them back. But, yeah. This is my fleet. You know. I love him to death. He was my Amorino, you know. When I picked him up, he reminded me a lot of that White Arabian that you find up north in Red Dead. He lasted me a damn good long time. But, he's done. He's earned his life's rest. He's earned it. He's earned it turning into a pile now. I have the important parts, the parts that mattered the most to me. I had a tinfoil thing that looked like the Enterprise D on the end of the antenna. I have that in the basement. I have both of his side things. I put a headliner in. I put a headliner in with some fabric and some hot glue, and that lasted me the whole time. You can just barely see a little bit of it in there. Yeah, that's all that's left of it, because I tore it all down. I took the visor, because that has all of my fuel receipts. Every single fucking one of them. My first car. This was my first. And it is sad. It is sad for her to go. It is sad for her to go, because I had, when I bought it, I had the dream of keeping it long enough to give it to a son. The girl that I was with doesn't love me anymore. She's gonna get married to her new boyfriend down there in Pennsylvania soon. I've been together now longer than we were. Damn good for them. I can't say I'm mad. I can't say I'm mad because she asked me if she should move down there, and I want you to be happy, do it. Broke my fucking heart. But that's what we get, right? Ooh, fancy plastic straw. I might yoink on that bad, Larry. I'm gonna keep the whole radiator, actually. Mostly because I don't... A portable shroud like that is actually quite useful. It's just 2 bolts, and you can make a bracket for anything for that. So that would be really good. I'm not gonna keep the plastic fan. I'm not going to keep the classic fan or the clutch. We're going with electric fan on the Studebaker because I convinced the guy with the Cougar to go with electric fan because you could grab the clutch fan, you could wobble the fan forward, backward, left, and right. It was really bad. It started eating up his shroud, and I was like, dude, it's your fan. Get rid of the fucking electric fan, dude. What was it? Power Masters, I think it was. One of the older early 2000s car television shows. They did like a power thing on 350 with an electric fan versus a mechanical clutch fan. Mechanical clutch fan takes 35 pounds of torque. Or 35 horsepower or whatever. It takes a lot of load out of the engine because it's a heavy rotational mass. And that slows down the efficiency and the spool up of the engine. Swap that with you just put an electric draw off the fan. It could still power it mostly from the battery until it needs to charge. So you take like 5 horsepower out of it instead of 35. That's a huge savings. Huge savings. Oh, I need to take the badge too. Maybe I'll just take the grill. Because that grill's actually really dope. I like that grill a lot. Love to graft that onto something that doesn't deserve it. I really would. It'd be so stupid. But that's the kind of man I am. I build either super weird, muddy cars, or I try and make them as factory as possible, right? That's my whole kit and caboodle. Like with this car, it's technically almost restored. I need to do work on there's a hole in the floor pan because the car jumped a bear. Yes, this car jumped a bear. That's its own, well, actually, I'll tell that story really briefly. My buddy was doing DoorDash. He DoorDashed for a living. Still does, right? He's getting off an exit. Probably, I think he was heading on to 89, the same highway that I stuff with that car and the, right. So he's getting on an off ramp to get onto there, right? And he sees this Toyota SUV off to the right-hand side. And, you know, he's just sitting here, he's looking over there, and he sees this little Toyota. Like, imagine it's right there in front of the car. And he's like, what the fuck? What's that going on? He's got his hazards on, it stopped, and then all of a sudden, the car goes, and he's like, what the fuck was that? It lifted up off the ground and everything. And so he pulls over. He puts his hazards on. Stadie's coming up this way, right? He puts his window down. Stadie puts his passenger side window down. Stadie goes, holy shit, man, are you okay? You just jumped a bear. The Toyota hit and killed a small black bear on the off-ramp. And it being a black bear, and it being night in New Hampshire, little Honda here just jumped right the fuck over it. I'm gonna get a custom bumper sticker. I'm gonna get a custom bumper sticker, and I think I'm gonna put it like right here where these scrapes are. I'm gonna try and make a quick doodle and put that up right now. It's gonna be the Honda, like the profile of the Honda Civic going up in the air with some swoosh marks, and then a grizzly bear standing going ah, kind of like a, you know, generic dead bear mounted taxidermy thing. And I think it'll be fucking hilarious. And it'll say, "This car jumped a bear." Yeah, eat your heart out. Break for moose, and this car climbed Mount Washington. No. This car jumped a bear. Yeah. It did a lot of damage to the floor pan. And by that I mean there's a hole the size of my head underneath that. Don't tell anybody I said that. I've done as much work as I can to keep it from. It doesn't spread. It's getting worse, for sure. But that's the bad spot. There's another spot on the other side where all of the rubber undercoating from this that was originally there is still there. It got pummeled by that bear, and his claws and teeth and bone stripped some of it back, and that's why it's starting to rot out now. But that's not the end of the world. I'm just gonna cut pieces out of it. You know, I'll just cut pieces out of it and weld it back together. I might do the same thing with this part of the door, because it's starting to get really crispy, and I don't like that. It's starting to get real fucking crispy right there. Like that. Oh, I really don't like that. I really don't like the way that the paint's coming off that and the way the water drips in and stuff. But that's its own thing. Engine runs like a top. Needs an oil change, but runs like a top. Transmission runs beautifully. It'll last me to 300,000 miles. Probably last me longer than that. I say 300,000 now because it's still got the original head gasket. It's got the second belt on it. I can tell that because I've had the cover off and I looked at it and I'm like, been in here for maybe 40,000 miles. Maybe it's got another 60,000 left. It wasn't dry rot. It wasn't stretched, but you could tell it was starting to get old. There's dust starting to collect on it from the rubber flaking off because, you know, physics. That's why we have to replace tires. But not bad. Otherwise, it'll last me. You know, it's a good car. Jump bear. Once I fix all the holes in the floor pan and all that stuff, and put the bumper up right, and this is the original muffler. It's a Honda Maraca. That one also had a Ford Maraca. That was the first exhaust work I ever really did. I cut that thing off, and where I was working, they had a MagnaFlow that they had got for their son's Frontier. And they were like, you know, if you know what it is and you can use it, you can have it. It's in the shed there where we keep all the trash. So I went in there and I'm like, oh, it's got the MagnaFlow part number on it. And I saw that MagnaFlow part number. I'm like, that is the MagnaFlow part number that comes up if you look for that truck or this on AutoZone. It gives you that part number. Like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, I can use that 100%. Because, Honda Maraca and Ford Maraca. It rotted out there. That's the... So I welded me up an exhaust with another MagnaFlow. I think it's a BRE or MagnaFlow. It's from the MagnaFlow group. They're all in together now. And I put one of these tailpipes on it. And that made a huge difference, actually. Putting a downward spout on this car made a huge difference. It sounds different. which is really neat. It's got a little bit more of a, which is kind of like what people would expect out of a Honda, but it doesn't when you get up and go, because there's a, it's a muffler. It's a style of muffler. There's a glass pack in the middle of the car. I welded a glass pack in the middle of the car because the cat converter rotted itself out like an Xbox controller logo. With the 4 bits around it. So I cut that out one day and I just like stuck that together with some clamps and shit. And then eventually that thing rotted out and I was like, all right, fuck it. It's time. Fuck it. Let's order some clampages off the Amazon. Fuck it. We'll hold it together. I even fucking... So someone had cut the flange off the 4-to-2 Y pipe. This is a Y pipe that has like a Subaru style collector. And then it goes into the 1, and that's factory on the EX Coupe. And then it goes to the cat converter underneath the floor pan. I put... Yeah, the O2 sensor's up here. The upstream O2 sensor's up here in the engine bay. That's still attached. That's new. And then glass back. And then I was going to weld a plate from one of the bolt-on Toyota things. Because I used to be a commercial sales manager at AutoZone, and I got one off a customer because he's like, I don't need the plate. I'm like, can I take it? Tube bung. I might be able to weld that onto exhaust. He's like, by all means, take it. I'm not going to fucking use it. So I did. And I went to weld onto it one day, and it was really cold. And I got the whole thing welded on, and then I went to hit it with a bigger stick to like finish off the edges, and the whole thing came off, and I was like, feck, I already drilled the hole. Well, that sucks. 18 by 1.5 or whatever. The thread. I had a thread chaser for spark plug. I had one of them dual-ended spark plug thread chasers, and I was like, is this the same as the O2 sensor? And I looked at it, and yeah, and I threaded it, and peekaboo! There it is. Yeah, that's just threaded in. It hasn't come loose. It doesn't leak. It doesn't nothing. It's not even all the way in. It's just it got tight enough that I was like, I'm not going to tighten it anymore, because if I do, it's going to strip some of the threads, and then it won't work. So we're going to leave it like this. And it's an upstream O2 sensor in the downstream spot, because the pigtails are the same. You can actually get to the... under here. The pigtails are the same. Don't mind the wire nuts. The pigtails are the same. So I just like... The original line comes from that clip, and it's about that long, and it goes right up underneath the floor. Well, when he jumped the bear, it depinned the whole pigtail to the point where the pigtail clip, the plastic clip-in bits were broken. So you can shove the pins in all you wanted, but every time you go to clip it together, it pushes them right back out. So I was like, okay, do they sell those on the internet? That's a different pigtail. Do they sell those on the internet? Fuck yeah, they do. They sell extensions for the K-swap shit. So I was like, oh, fucking doopadoodle. That's easy peasy, baby. I'll just clip the end off of it, wire it together, and then plug the O2 sensor in and see if my check engine light goes away. Because it only had it for the circuit, because it wasn't plugged in. It went away. I got better fuel mileage. I got better power. Sounded better. Fucking A, mate. You could trick the computer on these to think that there's a cat in it by putting an upstream and the downstream, because they're the same pigtail. And the reason I logicked that was, this is an economy car that was sold in countries in the 90s that didn't require catalytic converters to be sold. So I should be able to trick it, right? Yeah, you can. Yes, sir, you can. I don't necessarily recommend doing this to your car unless you know precisely what you're doing. I did that so that the check engine light would stay off, so that a friend of mine's roommate could go and get their driver's license. They did pass. They then got it taken away for driving a jalopy that wasn't safe. Yeah. The funny part was, though, the guy at the DMV, he was like, is blue updated registration? Yes, sir, it is, because he had one of them guys walking around, because they were gonna try and pile fucking 3 people in this car. You could technically fit 5. It's a mechanic's car, mate. It's not gonna happen. You can fit 2 people in it nicely enough. He was a taller gentleman, so He kind of had to have his legs up in the dashboard a little bit there because I've got stuff behind the seats and junk like that because I'm a single guy, single man's car, you know. Good enough for the women that I don't date. But he's like, man, this thing's a fucking shitbox. Hey, he like looked it up and down really hard. And I was following him for a minute and he's like, hey, you can't be here for this. And I'm like, right, but okay, fine. I guess I'll go stand over here for a minute. I have a legal right in the state of New Hampshire to be present for an inspection of my vehicle. He was inspecting my vehicle. Now, I think he thought it was her car. It wasn't her car. This is my vehicle. I have a right to be there and to be present for an inspection of my vehicle. I know my laws. Don't fuck with me on my laws. Anywho, you're like, man, this is a fucking shitbox. Because they saw the Bondo on the door and you're like, oh, this thing's fucking terrible. They come back from the test. He gets out. I hear him muttering to himself, man, that's actually a really fucking smooth ride for a 90s car. Holy shit. Yeah, because I've done the suspension all around. I've done struts all around. I haven't done the rubber. I should do all the rubber. That's its own problem. Like I said, it's almost restored. I have to do some body work and then it'll be restored. And part of the body work is I'm going to replace the rubber. Because it's old. It's 90s rubber. It's bad now. It's mostly attached to the rest of the car. In places. I think it's fine. It rides fine. It doesn't bother me. I don't take it down dirt roads. I don't abuse the car anymore. I don't abuse any of my cars anymore. They told me to stop doing that. So I did. I've been treating them with a lot more respect. They deserve the respect from me. I told them that I'm going to pull them out of yards and save them, and I did. I did. My buddy wasn't driving this. That's why I got it. I was driving the Ranger, and this has better fuel mileage by about 5 miles per gallon than... When you're driving from Concord, New Hampshire, all the way up past Warren, New Hampshire every day, and back, saves you a lot of gas. You know, saves you a lot of gas. At the time, it had a leaky gas tank, just like the black one. About halfway, 3/4 tank. Yeah. Clamshell design. That's where it's clamped together. About 3/4 mark. Anywho, this is becoming an hour-long video. I wasn't expecting it to become an hour-long video. It's also starting to rain out now. So that's peachy. Yeah, it's my fleet. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys watched all the way through, thank you very much. I am going to paint that room like these. I dig it. It looks funky. I dig it. I like stuff that makes cars pop. You know, just like I've had a lot of old timers be like, man, I really, alright, it cut me off. So that means that I'm going to have to be done here soon. Yeah, I preemptively maintained it because, you know, as Ben Franklin says, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure or whatever. So, yeah, same thing works for cars. Same thing works for cars. I wanted to save that CRV in the backyard. I think she might be toast. That's fine, though. I'll just yank the fucking engine out of it. Put that in my basement. Use that for something in the future. That'll be fucking neat. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to have to find out. When it's a nice day in the near future, I'll go up to Harbor Freight, get me another tent, because I had paid for the warranty on that thing, and it buckled, and all. I was like, last time I was there, I was like, you guys want the whole thing? Oh, heavens bid no, just bring us a piece of it that's broken. I went, okay, I'll just bring you a piece of buckled steel, that's easy enough to grab. I'll just grab my angle grinder and bring that right in. Yeah, you want us to go check if we have one? No, I'm sure you do. I'll be back in like a couple weeks. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll set that up, and then we'll tear into that car. If I, however, can't save that car's getting parted out before I scrap it. There's 330,000 mile seats and they don't fucking look it. Nope. I'll take everything out of that car. I will take everything out of that car before it goes to a scrapyard. Because I bought that car for also $1,200. I can make a lot of money off of it. That engine and transmission by itself is worth $3,000. Because it's an all-wheel drive manual. Yeah, the case wappages, baby, the case wappages. So, you know, yeah, if you guys watched all the way through this, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and goodbye. I'm just cutting apart, that's the original drive shaft for the Mustang. I'm just cutting pieces off of it because I never know if I'm going to need it. I magnetized the fucking thing. Look at that. Look at that! I magnetized it. I don't even know how the fuck I did that. Whoa! Whoa! What the fuck? I didn't see that from the other side. That's neat.